tell us a little bit of the history of your dealings with WKCO?
Yeah, well, the first year I was here was 1963, if you can believe. That's not so long ago, is it really? until you think this is 1985. You know?
Oh, well.
And so I was invited down to read some poetry at the radio station. At that time, it was in the basement of Hill Theater. And now they had all this equipment, not as much as you guys have, not nearly as much as you guys have, really. But they had, the red light, and they had put me in a booth with a microphone. They were dialing knobs and things, and when the light came on, they shut their finger through the window at me, and I'm on. So I read some poetry, and I don't know, I read for about a half an hour, and then they made the motion across the throat, very professional, cut it off, and I cut it off, and then they came on, there was a little pattern, and it was all over with, But that was great. The lights went back on in the studio because they had the lights off so he could see me through there. I said, how many people do you suppose, egoist that I am, how many people do you suppose actually heard this? He said, well, right now we're getting through to one room in Old Kenyon, and if the two guys were in this evening and turned on the radio, they might have heard you. I said, what do you mean one room? He said, well, what we do is broadcast through the heating tunnels, and depending on the atmospheric conditions, there's one or two rooms in Old Kenyon, and maybe sometimes if the weather's just right, we might even to get into a couple of rooms in South Leonard. But so it was just like broadcasting into the night. But what the hell, they did it all anyway. It really didn't matter if anybody was listening or not. I see you have a sign up there, remember, people are listening.
That's what we're trying to remember.
It's a hard thing, because you never know who's out there. It's not easy to talk. I've always found it hard to talk on the radio.